fill in the blanks here. If you wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin hit 1 million, within this decade, you wouldn't be surprised to see Ethereum hit which price point?
It's 100,000. It's all because the supply is low. Anytime you cap supply and there's a greater adoption, then these prices will grow, as Metcalfe's law suggests, will grow exponentially. And that's what we're witnessing.
Is in a rising interest rate environment, why would Ethereum be a better hedge than Bitcoin or gold?
Well, because it has more uses. It's also a store of value like Bitcoin is for a huge audience of participants. And it has many more applications with it that are being used. So I think that's where you get the 2 for 1. And the difference is also the structure, the ecosystem of Bitcoin are very much like, which you would know well, gold bug fanatics that it's almost like a religion, like the Green Party is a religion. These people are religious about it. And they all, both Bitcoin and gold bugs, read from the same Old Testament of history of money printing. It's exactly the same.
Well said. And let me say this. I just think it's interesting because we've been talking about Bitcoin versus gold for so long. Could this be the new debate, Ethereum versus Bitcoin now?
No, I don't think so. I think that Bitcoin is on has its own trajectory. It's underperformed on a relative basis to Bitcoin and Dogecoin. These other things have all outperformed everywhere. But I'm still really proud that $1,000 in 2020 when HIVE is worth over 41,000. So that is a good statement that it will move like some of these crypto coins when they start to go parabolic. So I think from that end, we continue to mine Ethereum, but we're really expanding our Bitcoin footprint at HIVE Blockchain. And that's been very important. And that's why today we've got to be the highest revenue generating company on the Vancouver Stock Exchange, most profitable. We'll come with our earnings in the next 10 days. And anyone that follows our press releases, we'll have just an incredible quarter again. So I think our inventory of coins are pushing close to 200 million. So what we do is we hodl that Ethereum and Bitcoin. And that's what's special. And that's why I think Ethereum Bitcoin's universe, you and I have talked about this before, but the conferences I've been attending, I was just in Dubai, and it was all alternative investments and it was dominated by Bitcoin.
And I just, I've said this to you in the past, like hats off to you for the success of HIVE. Frank, I've said it should be a TED talk on its own of how you really turned around the company. But getting back to, Bitcoin and Ethereum and Bitcoin maximalists who believe you should only hold Bitcoin, Michael Saylor, obviously a bullish Bitcoin buyer, has predicted trillions of dollars will flow into Bitcoin once the US regulators approve the fully fledged Bitcoin ETF, helping Bitcoin to replace gold and become the primary asset index for the Western world. Do you agree?
Well, I don't know if it's going to replace gold because you really can't wear it unless it looks like gold. When in the Middle East, in Dubai, at the airport, it's spectacular. You can buy 24 karat gold jewelry at the airport and drop it on a weight scale. There's a big part of the world in emerging markets that use gold both for jewelry and store of wealth. So I don't think that that's going to disappear overnight. And you need electricity for Bitcoin to have its functionality.
I asked Rick Rule this. Let me ask you, is Bitcoin digital gold, or is that just good jargon, fun term to throw around?
I think it's great jargon. I think the person that created the first smart contract, which Ethereum is a smart contract, is the wonderful historian, computer scientist, and a lawyer that people all talk about, Sasbo. And he's written a book on history of destroying of wealth, of money, paper money. And so he wrote the first contract, I think in 98. He created this first, it was called BitGold. So there is something all that weaves into that story.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Let me wrap with this. I mean, we see the momentum, the energy in both the Bitcoin and Ethereum space. obviously by the rallies we've seen, all-time highs keep being made daily here, Frank. Tim Cook coming out saying his interest in cryptocurrencies. So we're now seeing tycoons of Wall Street acceptance of cryptocurrencies. It's okay to come out and say you own Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatnot. So that said, what kind of forecast do you hold for both?
Well, it's Metcalfe's law. And because Bitcoin is capped at 21 million coins, and Metcalfe's law says that the price can grow exponentially. And what's happened, and it's continuing to happen by other channels, and what happened was PayPal allowed investors to buy fractions. And then as it went up, they could peel off a piece and buy a new TV or a car. So the idea that Robinhood, you can buy a fraction of, you don't have to pay $68,000, you can pay $680. And now we have the ETF, which allows the general public, even though it's a derivative of a derivative, you can still buy a fraction. And all those allow greater adoption globally. So I think that it could easily be $1 million. It's down the road, might be in the next 10 years. Bitcoin could be $1 million in the next 10 years, sure, with the amount of money printing against that way and the believers around the world.
Let me ask you this. Does Bitcoin at $1 million have to necessarily mean the destruction of the US dollar, or can they both coexist?
They both coexist. They're both going to coexist, absolutely, because the US by that time is going to have its own digital money. And that's what they really want. That's the big push. Every time there's an attack on Bitcoin, Ethereum, by governments is because they're too slow at adopting, because they all want digital money. I believe the most advanced really is China. And as they're pushing this direction, that's why they kicked all the Bitcoin miners out. They do not want any competition.
I want to ask you this as Frank Holmes, the investor. You mentioned the ETFs, but would you rather be buying, Bitcoin, Ethereum straight up, or the ETF, or both?
Well, I'm so biased because we hold Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we're very profitable, and we're traded at a cheaper PE ratio than NVIDIA. So I think as a tech stock, we offer virgin coins, which we carry in our balance sheet, and we continue to have them grow every day. So I think I'm very biased, but that's my biased position.
Last question for you. As an American investor, are you better off getting a Bitcoin ETF in Canada, based in Canada, or here in the US?
Oh, in the US, I think it's much easier, better. Tax reporting, liquidity, all those factors. It's really difficult going cross-border with any type of money. And also when you have closed-end ETFs or funds that own Bitcoin or Ethereum. But it's very, very bullish. You have to look at the other part of Ethereum is going to go to proof of stake, and they're trying to get away from proof of work in that process. And all it's done is shrink the supply really rapidly for Ethereum, and people are trying to earn an income on their Ethereum. And that's another thing that's propelling Ethereum higher and higher. So eventually there's going to be no more new mining of Ethereum in 2 years from now. So right for us, mine the Ethereum, put it in the bank account because it's going to trade higher, is my thoughts on it.
So let's wrap with this. Fill in the blanks here. If you wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin hit 1 million, within this decade, you wouldn't be surprised to see Ethereum hit which price point?
It's 100,000. It's all because the supply is low. Anytime you cap supply and there's a greater adoption, then these prices will grow, as Metcalfe's law suggests, will grow exponentially. And that's what we're witnessing. But there's other real positive news besides the global crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum. It's wheels up. And I got to share with you, you were there for the launch jets, and the U.S. opened it up for anyone from Europe to be able to fly into America.
That's right. Finally.
And two weeks when I was in Dubai, it was full going over, half full coming back. I was in Sweden a month ago, same thing. So I think that the airlines industry has another big leg to it.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70. In the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.